You are listening to Acadiana's Morning News. Hour number 3, Bernadette Lee, Ian Ozan.
Hey.
Hello, good morning on a big old fat Wednesday. I love Wednesdays.
It is. It's a Wednesday. We're 2 days away from the weekend, 2 days from payday for us, more importantly. And for the rest of the show, for this 8 o'clock hour, I'm proud to have a dear friend of mine on the show and also a huge cultural ambassador for the area. And, let's go ahead and sample a little bit of his music while we bring him in.
Sounds good.
He is the pride of Marlette, Louisiana, out in western St. Landry Parish. Multiple-time Grammy Award winner, your friend and mine, Mr. Terrance Simien. Terrance, comment ça va?
Comment ça va? Comment ça va, mes amis?
Ça va bien, et toi?
Oh, it's all good, David. It's going to be good, too.
Good. Now,
y'all sounding good, too, man. Awesome work.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Now, we've got a bunch of areas to cover today, but most importantly, you've got a big event coming up Saturday. Mardi Gras is not what it's going to be normally this year because of the pandemic, but you are going to do everything in your power to give everyone, not just in Acadiana, but around the world, a Mardi Gras experience via the internet. What all do you have planned for Saturday?
Well, we calling the show Mardi Gras Mambo, and it's going to be a live stream from Vermilionville, from the performance space there. And we're just going to try to give the people who tune in, who's viewing it, a piece of Mardi Gras energy, you know what I'm saying, in our own creative way. Because like you said, this year, Mardi Gras is going to be different than it ever was in the history of Mardi Gras in Louisiana and all over the country, And for the past, I would say, 35 years, we've been celebrating Mardi Gras on the road, bringing Mardi Gras to people who can't make it to Louisiana, and we've had some incredible experiences, throughout that time. And so we just want to give people a little piece of the spirit of Mardi Gras on Saturday. We're gonna have the music, of course, and we're going to be doing some interviews with my band members who's like, I got one from Mexico City, I got one guy from Pittsburgh, a guy from New Orleans, a guy from LeBeau, a guy from Karen Crow, one from Scott, and my daughter's going to be there, and we're going to do some interviews with all of them, and just have them, share some of their Mardi Gras experiences growing up, and just, trying to put that vibe out. Like I said, man, that positive vibe that, look, is different today, but we can still have a party. And I'm suggesting to everybody to cook them a big pot of gumbo while they're listening, get them a little something to drink or whatever, and, have a good time, man. Have a good time. Make the most of it. It's not a total loss,
You said you're so used to being on the road and traveling during Mardi Gras that you haven't been home in 30-some-odd years. For you and for Marcella, your daughter, who's also coming back to play, and she's been on the road forever and a day now, for you to be home this Mardi Gras, for Marcella to be home with you at Mardi Gras, what does it mean for you to finally be able to play a show at home during the Mardi Gras season, even if it is during a pandemic and you're forced to?
Well, it's a beautiful thing, Ian. There's no place like home, and the feeling you get being in this area, just being in this area for a time like Mardi Gras or for like Jazz Fest, it's just, you're just so happy and proud to be here and celebrating the music and the culture and the people, and for me, I'm looking so forward to it, of course, my whole family together, we can spend Mardi Gras together, that's a rare thing, but just to be able to perform, it's been a year now since me and the band did a gig, and it's the first time in 35 years I've been home longer than 2 months at a time, so it's an exciting time, man, it's an exciting time for me. And we're gonna just, the whole band is excited about getting together and playing the music, and I'm sure that's gonna come across through the cameras and the vibe in the room. But it's just a, for Mardi Gras, you want to be in Louisiana more than you want to be anywhere else.
You mentioned that Marcella's playing with you for this concert. Any other special guests will be popping in?
No, that Marcella's the only special guest. I'm going to also have my band, which is going to be Danny Williams. Me and Danny, we've been together for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And Stan Chambers. Stan's been with us for about 12 years now. And then my drummer, Ian, MT. Ian actually graduated from Berkeley College of Music.
Really?
And he's been in he's from Pittsburgh. He's been in New Orleans for like the last 3 years. And he's been in the band for over a year now, and it's a great drummer. And he really love and respect the music and the culture. For a young man, 23 years old from Pittsburgh, that's a special thing for me. And then Lance Ellis, my saxophone player, Lance played with the band War. And he also played, with all the greats in New Orleans, the Marcellus and all that, man, all of them. And then my guitar player, Jose Alvarez, who's from Mexico City. And Jose is not a permanent member of the band. He was for 10 years, and then he took a job. He's a airline pilot now, commercial airline pilot.
Cool.
Yeah. So he can get, they're not as busy as they were during the before the pandemic. So he can his schedule is flexible. So we try to get him back with us in the band as much as possible.
Now, if anybody,
that's what we're gonna have. That's what we're gonna have.
Now, if anybody wants to watch the concert, how can they watch it? Is there a fee involved? Is there a ticketing system? If people want to watch, how can they watch?
Well, you can go to our website, and it explains all that you have to do is real simple. There's a fee. There's a $15 fee. You know what I'm saying? A soft ticket. And, we're going to try to make sure that you get your money's worth. I promise you that. But the concert is from 7:30 to 9 on Saturday, February 15th.
When you say a soft ticket, what do you mean by that?
Well, a soft ticket is a $15 ticket instead of a $100 ticket. It's harder to come up with $100. It's easier to come up with $15.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a term used in the industry, man. Whenever you have a lower ticket price, they call that a soft ticket. And whenever you over $50, then you're starting to get a little hard.
Yeah, there you go. Now, you mentioned the culture a little while ago, and I read something, I forget what paper it was or what outlet it was, said that Zydeco music is a mix of the Cajun and Creole cultures. And you and I, as St. Landry Parish people, know that's not quite true. It's very much a Creole art form, taking from R&B music, taking from the French traditions, but also taking from a lot of Afro-Caribbean traditions. What is it about Zydeco music that makes it unique from not just Cajun music, but the other art forms from South Louisiana?
Well, Zydeco is actually the opposite of Cajun music. And if you live in South Louisiana, you know that. And there's been so much misinformation put out there. And no Cajun bands want to be considered a Zydeco band. Just like no Zydeco band want to be considered a Cajun band. And it's two different styles of music coming from two separate groups of people. Zydeco music is the music of the French Canadians who migrated down here, called the Cajuns now. And then Zydeco music is the music of the Creoles who were actually here before the Cajuns. And that's music that's heavily influenced by the heaviest influence in that music is Africa. Okay, now this music is easy to research. There's documented music that goes back to the 20s and 30s. Now the earliest form of Zydeco music was made behind a mule and a plow. Wow. Okay, and that was a style of music that developed. It's called the jure. which was a style of music that was done just by clapping your hands, stomping your feet, and singing in French, in the Creole French language. Now, Alan Toussaint and Alan Lomax and John Lomax came to Louisiana in the 20s and 30s. That like they were going all over the country to record, certain styles of music that they felt, was gonna either change or just disappear completely. And they recorded some Jure stuff from the 20s and 30s, and they were quoted that was the most. They said that was the most African music they heard. African sounding music they heard in America. And if you listen to those records from the 20s and 30s, the Jure Creole music, where the Creole music started, you'll hear it. You'll hear the clapping of the hands, stomping of the feet, and the singing. It wasn't just the rhythm. It was the melody as well. Now, the music evolved when the accordion was added to it. Now, Amédée Oudouin was the first to record Creole music on the accordion, and Douglas Bellard was the first Creole musician. Both of them were Creole musicians. They were the first Douglas Bellard was the first Creole musician to record on the violin. And back then, they took a lot of those old Jure songs and turned them into songs with other instruments, with the accordion and the violin. Sometimes you had a rub board. Sometimes people say that they would do these house dances, and they'd take a broom, and all those old houses had wooden floors, and they'd rub the stick, the broomstick on the floor, and create a rhythm like that. Some people say that broomstick would start off, it would be about 4 feet long. By the end of the night, it was like 2 inches. They would the more they start partying, bro, that broom was like, you could have started a fire with that. But it was like, it evolved from Amédée, then it evolved from Clifton Chenier. When Clifton Chenier, and as you see, that's nothing to do with Cajun music where I'm taking you, from Jure to Amédée to Clifton Chenier. Clifton Chenier electrified the music and added other influence of the time. Like in the 1940s, he added some jazz influence, some blues influence, some early rock and roll influence. And the music today, continues to evolve because the young artists are taking ownership of that music, which they have the right to do, and keeping it relevant for today. When I first started playing this music in 1981, the majority of the people that would come to our dances back at the time was at least 20 years older and up, and you had a few teenagers into the music. And my band and the Sam Brothers 5 were the only two teenage Zydeco bands in the world at that time. And then, now it's so beautiful to see that there's more young people involved in the music than there is the older generation. And it's just a sign that our music is going to be with us for quite some time. You want that to happen. You want to keep the music relevant for the day. Now, some of the stuff they do is not my thing because I'm an OG. I got a whole nother vision. But it is Zydeco music, and the young artists have the right to evolve it, and that's I just wanted to throw that in there, But that's the history of our music. The foundation of our music, more than anything, is that throughout time it evolves. Now, some people that hear Zydeco music in from the 70s or the 80s and say, "Oh yeah, that's Zydeco," and if they hear music from now, they say, "Oh well, that's not Zydeco." Well, they're wrong. Okay? They're wrong
right.
about that.
Yeah,
it is.
It's Zydeco of today. It is not, and like George Clinton would say, if you don't like my music, you don't have to use it. So if you hear anything you don't like these young people doing, don't go mess with their head and tell them they're doing anything wrong, man. They're doing everything
Absolutely.
right.
Terrance, let's
But
go.
You are listening to Acadiana's Morning News. Bernadette Lee and Ian Ozan. Ian is friends with a super awesome guy and a super awesome musician. And we are honored this morning to have Terrance Simien joining us on the line this morning. And thank you for doing this, sir.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. It's just so good to have a conversation, and it's awesome. It's awesome. I've been looking forward to being with y'all for a couple of days now. I usually get up every morning and drink one pot of tea. So if I get a little overexcited, it's because I'm on my second pot of tea. This is not usual.
We mentioned before the break, Terrance, that with the history of Zydeco, the evolution, that it's left its mark on Americana. And that's on full display at the National African American History Museum. You and your wife, Cynthia, played a huge part in getting some Zydeco artifacts installed in that museum. Tell us more about that. How did this come about, and where can people go to see this exhibit?
Well, I have to confess, I had very little to do with it. This is all Cynthia, and she was working on it for 2 years, I think, before it actually happened. She would even gave donations to the museum, but this is an awesome thing for our music, that it's going to be on display in an exhibit from now until forever in the National Museum for African American Music, and a lot of people, don't understand, like you made mention earlier, a lot of people get Cajun music and Zydeco music confused, which is understandable, I mean, the Cajun the Cajun culture has been promoted really well, and most people know about the Cajun culture outside Louisiana, and of course inside Louisiana, outside Louisiana, more than they know about the Creole culture. But Zydeco music is an African American style of music that was, invented by, came from the Creoles of South Louisiana, who are the black and multiracial French-speaking people. And to have this music on display there, to finally get it to be acknowledged as a true African-American form of music was a big deal for me. Okay, and of course Cynthia, pursued this like she does everything, like she did the Grammy category, and it's having these items. Okay, we have Queen Ida's accordion that she played in the museum. We also have Reginald Durrell's rubboard, which is Reginald is the son of the late great Buckwheat Zydeco, and they have my Fulani hat from that I wear in honor of my African ancestors, because it's a hat from Mali, from Mali, and they have some, they also wear the hat in Senegal, and the places where the people who came from Africa to Louisiana, came from those two countries. And I wear that hat in honor of my ancestors, my African ancestors, because, and then we have the Creole flag. So, it's placed right in the lobby of this 56,000 square foot, $60 million facility in downtown Nashville, next to the Ryman Auditorium. Okay,
wow.
So you can get a taste of country, and you can get a taste of African American music right on the side.
That.
And I think I really applaud the city of Nashville and all the people who had anything to do with making that statement, it's like we united. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? This is
absolutely.
and our contributions are equally as important. And I think when people start to hear the true story and not the his or her story of
Right.
history,
Yeah.
they start to realize some people can accept the facts, some people can't. But facts are facts, and that we all contributed, man. All of us contributed to make American music what it is today. And the African American Music Museum is going to be part of, acknowledging that. It's gonna play a huge part to teach the world that. And I just can't say enough about how proud I am that my wife worked so hard to get this in there, and it's in there, and it's in there for us all. We got Louisiana, this part of Louisiana, represented in a national museum where people are going to come from all over the world and see our accordion, rubboard, Fulani, and a Creole flag.
Amen, brother. And Terrance, we're out of time. I appreciate you joining us this morning. One last time
great.
for those who missed it. Big concert, Saturday night, Mardi Gras concert. You, Terrance Simien, the Zydeco Experience, Marcella Simien sitting in. For those who want tickets, what's the website and how much are the tickets again?
Well, you can check our website, Terrance Simien, and the tickets are $15. And the show goes from 7:30 to 9, and it's going to be nothing but a good time.
Absolutely. And, of course, we'll link this interview as well as Terrance's website at kpel965.com and the KPEL mobile app. So if you missed any part of the interview, you can relive it, and you can also find that link to get the tickets. Terrance, as always, a huge pleasure to have you on with us. We'll do it again soon, and maybe we'll have to carve out much more time to discuss
definitely.
all what's going on in the world of Zydeco. And, hey, I like those birds in the background.
Me
They might have to sit in
too.
as well.
Hey, man, I tell you what, I'm outside. I've been sitting outside quite a bit, I thank you, my brother, and my sister for having me today. I just want y'all to know y'all doing a great job putting out some real information that's helping everybody in the community, and keep on doing what y'all doing.
Well, we will, and we love you. You too. Have a great one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you, brother. Hey, stay out of the office.
Yeah.
No, we're going to have a meeting in the office, bro.
Sounds
I got a
good.
New office.
Oh, good.
I got a new office.
Good to know. Give me a call. Just let me know.
Yeah, okay, brother. Bye-bye.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What a great conversation. Okay, so you can't talk about The Office, I'm guessing?
Yeah, that's an inside joke.
Okay. All right, I'll leave it at that. Ooh, more mystery with Ian. I love it. I love it. Okay, so I can't believe today is already over.
I know. It just flew by. It's already 8:51. Moon Griffon coming up in just a few minutes. Tomorrow's Thursday. Tomorrow will be chock-a-block full again.
It will. Oh, my goodness. Gosh. Okay, so Ian, where'd the time go? I don't know. I do know this.
Mm-hmm.
There is still some fog out there.
Yeah.
Darn it. So we got to deal with that. We probably should bring an umbrella. I mean, 40% of us will deal with some showers, but so just bring an umbrella, I guess, in case.
Yeah, and then tomorrow it'll be 90% of us dealing with the weather. So just whatever you do, be careful on the road, because we want to see you here tomorrow. God willing, and if the checks don't bounce, Bernie and I will both be here tomorrow morning, 6 to 9. We'll be here. We trust you'll be here as well. Until then, for Bernie, I'm Ian. Don't take life too seriously. You're not getting out alive anyway.
That's exactly right. And you know what? Let's all just try to love one another, okay?
Amen.
Have you ever wondered why eyeglasses cost so much? Glasses have been around 700 years. Isn't technology supposed to get less expensive over time? Well, there's a simple explanation.